Broncos country, what's going on? Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. Hopefully, an early start to your weekend. I'm going to break down everything that we got to know about day 3, day 1 of having fans in attendance of Broncos training camp. And seems like the reviews coming in for Bo Nix have been great so far. I know I've had some friends come on the channel and say, Dave, you're making such a big deal about this throw or that throw. That is the time. This is the time where we spot the training camp Hall of Famers, baby. So, what fun is this if I'm not making a big deal out of everything? So, let's go ahead and get into what I saw from today's practice via our wonderful, if I can talk, our wonderful friends on Twitter. So, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Y'all be sure to smash that like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the live stream or the replay. I do look at all of them. And special shout out to Zach Seegers and the rest of the Let's Talk Broncos YouTube channel. Link them in the description. Y'all, please go follow them. Gonna break down. First, we're gonna talk through Zach Seegers' training camp day thread. Guys, if you're not following Zach Seegers, please do this, because he provides a thread every day of what's going on with practice. So we're going to go ahead and dive into what all of his insights were on today's practice. So, of course, we had Bo Nix warming up today in front of a full crowd. And Zach is saying the same thing I am. Future Hall of Famer, absolutely looks the part to me. You had Troy Franklin and Devon Vele hyping up the crowd, which was great to see. But let's get into what some of his takeaways were. Okay, so first we started off with special teams, punt team, Mims, Dorsett, Bandy, Tremont Smith getting return work. D-line still doing hand fighting. Quarterback started out taking some reps from center, going between under center and shotgun. And by the way, guys, if any of you guys will be there August 1st, next Thursday, I'm going to be there as well. So if you see me, come say hi and let's chat. Should be a lot of fun. Now, 11 on 11 walkthrough started. Nix was working with some of the guys lower on the depth chart right now, which includes guys like Tyler Beatty, Jalen Virgil, Troy Franklin, Devon Vele. It was mentioned that Sean Payton is having all these rookies earn it. They're starting closer to the bottom of the depth chart, and they will work their way up, as that's how it should be. Zach Wilson was working with the ones today primarily, working with Greg Dulcich, Sutton, Mims. Zach Seegers saying that Stidham on the field with Wilson maximizes snaps for Bo, but let's drop the facade and just let Bo work with the ones. I would like to see that soon as well. Levi Wallace is out there opposite PS2 from what I've seen. Riley Moss is rotating when PS2 and Levi Wallace come off. Rough omen for the second-year player who costs 2 third-rounders. I think, hey, the fact that we're at least seeing him rotate in right now is beyond the expectation at the end of the season that I had for him. So I think that this is a positive place to where Riley Moss is starting. But if he finishes training camp kind of being this reserve player, going to be a little concerned, right? Nix tossed one deep to Bandy on a go route and dropped it right in the bucket. Gorgeous lob. You love to see that Bo Nix's deep ball accuracy is looking good. Davis Webb is the main guy working with Nix on the field. Yes, I agree. That's great to continue to build that relationship. Nix then hit Vele on a deep crosser in stride with 2 players in coverage. Again, showcasing accuracy. Nix would have gotten sacked, but it's a walkthrough, so I wouldn't put much stock in that. Absolutely. Was the throw good or not? Zach saying line isn't really blocking because, again, it's a no-contact walkthrough, but still nice to see Nix slide to his left with Sternad crashing down right up the middle and then finding the check down. It appears Payton is making the rookies earn it across the board, like we just mentioned a minute ago. From what I can see, all the rookies are on the close field with the less established players. Then Nix gets Elijah Garcia to jump with his cadence. Veteran type stuff. UDFA, Frank Crumb's kick out to mirror the edge rush has Bree Maestis, also of Let's Talk Broncos, making schoolgirl-esque sequels. Or squeals, not sequels. Interesting. So nice to see Frank Crum standing out there. Per our own Carter Dillon, Forsyth was on the close field and not the far field. Okay, so that means he's got to work his way up the depth chart. I imagine then Wattenberg is taking first team reps at center. Let's see what else. Not going through every tweet here. 7-on-7's time. Wilson behind on his first passing attempt. Looks for Reynolds on the second one. Reynolds corrals the worm burner in traffic to save the completion. Looks like the same old Zach Wilson. A lot of Jekyll and Hyde, a lot of amazing throws, a lot of inaccurate throws. You don't know what you're going to get. Wilson finds the wide open man, but it's behind him. Peyton stops things to coach up the DBs on something. Can't make it out, but he's yelling something at them. Starts right now. I think it might have been winning, but not sure. So saying winning starts right now. Sorry, guys. I'm like trying to hold a sneeze. Wilson throws another inaccurate pass. Stidham can't connect with Bandy on his first drop back. Throws his towel in the air to signal a pretty clear DPI from Riley Moss. Defense drops off the next rep, and Stidham quickly finds Estime underneath. Third one, see Sills run away from Chris Abrams' drain on an underneath corner. Stidham hits him in stride. Then we get a check down to Michael Burton. Nothing worth writing about there, really. Nix time. Nix quickly goes 1-2 and finds Bandy crossing over the middle of the field in traffic. The touch was evident. Thank God. Thank God, over the middle, throwing with touch. We haven't been accustomed to that in a while, Broncos country. Second attempt is right in the turkey hole above the corner, but dropped in front of the safety to Stills in stride. Wow, okay. His quarterbacking is notably, in all caps, cleaner. I'm going to retweet that one. Like, just clearly the best performer of that section of practice. Stidham felt like a journeyman I've come accustomed to seeing. Wilson was rough, all caps. Nick looked like a legit quarterback with accuracy, timing, touch, and appeared to work through reads well. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. This is what I like to hear. Wilson just had his best practice of the day. Would have been Wilson just had his best day of practice. Would have been a sack in the game, but dropped it on a dime from a pretty awkward angle, rolling left. Better overall during the 11s period than he was during the 7s. Still rough. Oh, best session of the day. That's what he meant to say. And then lastly, Stidham had Sutton wide open, all caps, and threw it so far behind that Sutton barely got a hand on it. Nix comes in, would have taken a sack in the first rep, but shows off the wheels. So overall, biggest takeaways from Zach Seegers is that Bo Nix was the best quarterback today. We'll get to some more of his takeaways. Down here, of course, Bree was also there with Zach. And let's talk about some of her takeaways that she had. Frank Crum and Zach Allen, just massive human beings, speedy freight trains, impressive. Oh my God, wouldn't that be great if Frank Crum can develop into that future starting left tackle for us, maybe here in a few years with Garrett Bowles? That would be nice. Hey, maybe he's even ready next year. But Riley Moss and Greg Dulcich are moving well, hoping for an impactful 2024 campaign. So even though we're seeing Riley Moss have some ups and downs, rotate in and out with the ones, the fact that Bree is pointing out that he's moving well, that he's looking the part, I think is notable. And in my impression of things, that's a very positive sign. Bo Nix throwing form is every variation and synonym of smooth and fluid. She leaves us with a question: how does the linebacker room shake out? Lord knows. But love to see Bree putting this out. Let's go ahead and go through some more tweets, and I'll get to your comments here at the end. we're almost wrapping this up, guys. Cody Rourke. My overall thoughts today on Broncos practice. Nothing really matters until Monday when the pads come on. That's where the team period is going to be even more crucial and easier to evaluate. Defense had the energy on the day. So I like to see that. Mike Kliss. It was indeed Zach Wilson's turn with the number 1 offense today. Did pretty well. Hit the short stuff. Stidham had the number 2 offense. Nix with the number 3. The QB rotation continues. So a little bit different of a review there than what we read earlier in terms of Zach Wilson. Did pretty well. DNVR Broncos put this out. Bo Nix, of course, showing off that arm strength, baby, to Courtland, Sutton. And we also had a handful of Buffalo's assistant coaches at practice today before they get started with fall camp, I believe, next week. You see linebackers coach there, Andre Hart, talking with, is that Todd Davis? We'll have to see. Carter Dillon of Let's Talk Broncos saying, Bo Nix ball comes out with something special on it. Yes. Noticeably different from Wilson after one throw. Henry Chisholm of DNVR was there saying Bo Nix is like that. Okay. Maybe they were playing that song. Cameron Parker, who we had on the show recently, friend of the show, mainly Broncos, 5280 podcast, saying Riley Moss is out at boundary corner with PS2 on the other side for team drills. I love to see this. Hopefully he can earn that spot as a starter. Carter Dillon saying Bo Nix overthrows Troy Franklin on a deep ball to end 7-on-7s. Bo looked good. Stidham checked down like every throw, and Wilson looked bad. Zach Stevens even saying for a second straight day, Bo Nix overthrew, all caps, Troy Franklin on a deep ball. Arm strength is not an issue like we've all been saying. Cameron Parker saying, I think Bo Nix had the better day of the 3, but it wasn't by much. He had some shaky, inconsistent moments in the team period, but it felt so good being back in there watching football again. I'm back tomorrow. Wonderful. Can't wait to see what you got to say, Cameron. Zach Seeger saying, okay, camp is done. Everyone cares about the quarterback, so here's my report card. I'll do an AMA about today's camp at 6 p.m. on the Let's Talk Broncos podcast. So y'all be sure to smash that bell notification over there as well for more in-depth coverage. Bo Nix with a B-, Stidham with a C-, and Zach Wilson with a D-. And if you don't know Zach Seegers, he is, he does not give softball grades like myself. So even though it's a B-, I would take that as a very good sign for Bo Nix, and we'll see what comes from it. But overall, this is how I want training camp going, where we hear positive things about Bo Nix, where we hear about him taking steps. And it sounds like to me from day 1 and 2, now to Friday, practice number 3, he has taken another step in terms of cleaning some of that accuracy up, throwing the ball with touch, showcasing his arm talent. That's what I love to see. So I think Gage from Broncos Syndicate mentioned, and I'll have this in a video in the description from Broncos Syndicate. Let's just move on from this Zach Wilson thing. We gave him a run with the ones. Pretty much everybody outside of Mike Kliss just was not even whelmed, so to speak. Very underwhelmed with his performance with the ones. I think the sooner we can get this into Bo Nix just taking reps with the ones, I think is better, but he has to earn it. I think right now, what I would love to see is we just make this a 2-horse race between Nix and Stidham. But again, it is my expectation that Bo Nix will take over as the starting quarterback at some point this preseason. But I'm not going to freak out if that's not the case, and we see a few games of Jarrett Stidham. But after 61 starts, you should be ready, Bo Nix. That is my expectation. So thank you guys. A little bit longer of a live stream today, but going to go ahead and get to one of our comments. Okay, Bill Bell L say, I believe in the Broncos. Hey, I like that. I believe. Maybe I'll use that for a thumbnail at some point. I like that. But yes, overall, I see positives with some of our young players that we've wanted to see take steps. Riley Moss, like Bree pointed out, Greg Dulcich, like Bree pointed out, and just reading some of the other reports, it seemed like Greg Dulcich had another good day today. So you love to see that, see him stacking days not only of good play, but of health. That's such a big concern going into the season with Greg Dulcich. I basically have my expectation to very minimal for Greg Dulcich because of his lack of ability to stay healthy. Maybe this is finally the year. Bill saying Wilson's stock in trade is he has more interceptions than TDs, not good career stats. Yes, I think he is in need of a year or two learning behind some other quarterbacks, taking that pressure off, maybe finding some love for football again, because New York can take the love of football out of you, no doubt. Really, it's remarkable that Eli Manning was able to play there as long as he was. Again, I just feel like it's an environment, it's a media culture that really just takes all the fun out of football. I think my hope is that Zach Wilson will find his love for football again and become a bigger student of the game than what he's ever been with. I think that you can't get mad at him for where he's at in his career, having started it with the Jets. Just an unstable franchise. And granted, we have, when the trust is running things and all that sorts of stuff, but the Jets are like a whole nother level. Offensive minds, I forget who their offensive coordinator was before Nathaniel Hackett, but no clear offensive identity or guys running offensive systems there that have had any track record of real success, as opposed to coming out here, getting yourself in a real system with a real coach that has had success in the NFL. I think that it can do him a lot of good. So we'll see if he makes the active roster. I don't know. I want to keep all the running backs. I want to keep all the quarterbacks. I want to keep more than 6 wide receivers ideally, but none of that's going to be able to happen. Hopefully you can hide Zach Wilson away on the practice squad for a little bit. And I do want to say this before I get to your comment, Sonny, is that Zach Seegers also had a tweet out about how Blake Watson right now not totally looking like the guy, which is a bummer. I thought I bookmarked that one, but I did not. Maybe I can go find it here under my likes. I'm not sure if I even liked them. Give me 1 second. I might have just scrolled past it, but that was really the only thing I saw today on Twitter regarding Blake Watson, that Zach Seegers wasn't particularly impressed, and that's a bummer. Hopefully we see Blake Watson start to showcase his versatile 3-down talent that I believe that he has. Probably a good omen for Samaje Perine, though. Sonny, I agree. After 61 starts in college, Bo should be ready, no question about it. Yes. And yeah, hopefully we don't see something happen like Jared Goff in his rookie year. Of course, he was playing for a staff that really had no idea how to develop somebody at the quarterback position. And then that changed, of course, once Sean McVay came in, and he did a great job. I'm not going to freak out if Bo Nix isn't the starter week 1, but I think it's best for his development. I think it's best for the team if you can see Bo Nix in as many games as possible this year. Because again, guys, as much as I am a fan and a believer that Bo Nix will exceed that 6 quarterback off the board draft status, 12th overall, 11th, I'm trying to remember. I think it was 12th. 5 quarterbacks picked ahead of him. I think he'll finish better than the 6th quarterback out of this draft class when it's all said and done. I got a Bo Nix jersey that I ordered to try and break the quarterback curse, but I would love to see Bo Nix start as many games as possible, because if we have a large sample size, let's say he starts all 17 games and it is not thrilling, we likely are in a position to where, since we have our first round pick next year, we can draft another quarterback and start over if we need to. Now, that is not the ideal scenario. That is not what I'm hoping for. But if we need to do something similar to what the Arizona Cardinals did with Josh Rosen and then Kyler Murray, we have the ability to do that. But I don't want to do something where it's like we only saw Bo Nix for, 6 games, or like what we did with Drew Lock his rookie year, with Joe Flacco here it was enough to get you excited, but maybe not enough to really give you a full idea of the type of quarterback that he really is. Let's just give Bo as large as a sample size as we can. Sonny, you're right. Bo basically had 5 full seasons in college. Sean Payton also needs to shape the offense to Bo's strong points. And yes, I think he will. And what's good news is that I feel like there's a lot of overlap with what concepts Sean Payton likes to run versus, what Bo Nix is comfortable doing and what made him successful at Oregon. There's a lot of crossover there. So what's great is that this isn't a putting a Justin Fields or a Russell Wilson behind center in the Sean Payton system. This is a quarterback that more naturally fits what Sean Payton is looking to accomplish. And I think underrated standpoint that was talked about during the draft process and post-draft, I think Bo Nix thinks about the game very similarly to Sean Payton. That's why I feel like this is going to be a good match made. Exactly, Bill Bellal. You said it in one sentence, what I tried to say in like a minute. He's the perfect fit for quarterback for Sean Payton's offense. And I think when you looked at this year's rookie class, he was the quarterback that fit the offense most easily, most seamlessly. Now, if we had the ability to draft Caleb Williams, would we have taken that chance? I think we would have, just because of the arm talent that he has. But I think the heady computer type brain he has at quarterback, I think, is one thing that really sold Sean Payton on Bo Nix. And I think there are going to be some teams regretting the fact that maybe they made too much out of his Auburn days, which is kind of odd. Again, it's been very weird to see somebody's previous school held against him so much. You didn't even see that with Jaden Daniels, who, in my opinion, was not very impressive at all at Arizona State. But it's like everybody forgot that he played at Arizona State. Anyways, y'all, that is my day 3 training camp summary. I like to see that Riley Moss is looking good. He's moving good. Greg Dulcich as well. But the big headline is that Bo Nix, in my opinion, is starting to separate himself at the very least from Zach Wilson. And seems like to me he's having more plays down the field right now than Jarrett Stidham as well. But like Cody Rourke said, what really matters is how these guys play and perform when the pads come on come Monday. So thank you guys so much. I will be back with more content later this weekend. Smash that like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, y'all, go Broncos.